Oh no. I feel a musical coming along.
This is the CodeO-cast, filling your day with stories.
But mostly memes though. And chaos.
Memes that you won't believe.
Not sponsored by Cheetos.
Hopefully we will be sponsored by the Cheetos. Here to entertain. It's the CodeO-cast.
This is fun.
Watching Rebels.
You're watching Rebels during a podcast.
We haven't started yet.
We're starting right now. It's recording.
Wait, are we starting already? Well, no one told me that.
That's what the clap was for.
Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to another podcast
Oh no.
where we missed the mark yet again. Are we actually starting?
Yes,
No
we
one's
are.
gonna watch this now.
That's fine.
You're welcome to do another intro. Editing.
I think we did. I
Shut
love.
up, Gulag.
I think the intro we just had was perfect. Hello,
Yeah.
guys.
That's our intro.
I believe I'm hosting this week, if I'm not mistaken. I have upgraded from man who sits here to man who has computers. So I will now fact check every pathetic waste of information we have to say on this podcast. So
And you'll still find a way to be wrong.
and we will still be wrong. I got a new mic. I'm really happy about that. I dropped $450 at Best Buy, so that's my flex for today. But welcome.
I mean, that wasn't
gentlemen.
on the mag.
This is what we do for you guys. This is what we do for you guys. We
And
spend a lot
also
of
look
money.
up Wikipedia.
Well, the mic was mainly for me. But yes, for you guys is definitely something that I'm going to consider one day. All right. So we are here for a podcast. Yay.
Whoa.
This
It's
Where's
our
the
1 year
energy,
anniversary.
Huh?
Where's the energy, man?
Look who's talking. Last week you were like a dead sack of meat.
We live in a society.
Exactly.
Our society.
Yes.
Oof.
I mean,
That is fair.
You got you there.
Oh yeah, we know you like meat.
well,
Today is what's
Well.
today?
Thursday.
Today's Thursday. Okay. Yeah, typically we do these bad boys on what, Fridays?
On Fridays.
Fridays, yeah. So I'm still trying to get in
But
the,
it's going up on the same day.
I know, I'm still trying to get in the groove of 9 p.m. because we've been doing it, what, 7 usually?
Yeah.
So this is good, though. This is good. Late night with the boys. Speaking of the boys, how are y'all doing?
Oh no.
No idea.
Alright, I thought you had something.
You grabbed our attention just to let us down.
Yeah.
I expected nothing, and I'm still disappointed.
Just chilling, you know.
I live to disappoint.
Just throwing out applications, gaming it up in between. Mostly gaming it up, but you know, that's how it is.
So it's gaming it up with a little bit of applications in between.
Yeah. Also, we need to get other recordings done so that way I could also do my editing parts. Because still waiting on the audio.
Oh, we have it.
Cool. There you go.
We did it, boys.
The funny thing was, he keeps letting me know all the time. Hey, can you send me the audio? Or like, he reminded me, hey, can you send me the audio part 2 for the episode 5 of the Cast Crashers? I'm like, yeah, sure. I go into Dropbox because we both share one, and it turns out episode 5 part 2 was already on there since September of last year.
That sounds about right.
I'm like, are you kidding me, Omar? You didn't even check.
Well, I didn't have your login info on that PC.
You had it.
And not on the PC.
Well, we are still learning, boys. we are still learning. This is our third podcast together?
Third podcast here, yeah.
Third podcast here. All right, this is good. When we started, our initial plan was to try to figure out what kind of our thing was, but I feel like podcast is like a really good group for us.
It really
It
is.
is.
I think
It's
talk.
pretty fun.
Yeah, because like it feels
Podcast,
natural.
gaming, D&D, those are like 3 main ones for us.
Dude, D&D sesh for sure. We have to record
Yes.
a D&D
Well,
session.
what we were talking about doing was getting one camera for.
Please.
Heck
What
yeah!
is going
Look
I
at
thought
this.
he was gonna throw it on
Look
the
at this
table. I got
D20.
scared.
Look at this D20, guys. This is how. Wait, where's the 20? This is how you know we are real D&D players.
Give me a second. All right.
Heck yeah!
This will determine how the podcast will go today.
It's a 20.
14.
No, it's not.
We got a 14.
We
That
good.
means middle of the road.
Add your modifiers. Add your modifiers.
Yeah, we have none. We're not that good
Our
yet.
dexterity is trash.
We have no
But
modifiers.
yes, hopefully we can be throwing a little Dungeons and Dragons on this channel
So-
because we got some plans for that.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying. What we were thinking about doing was having one camera for you, since you're gonna be pretty much DMing, and then we have a camera like above, getting like an aerial view of the map. Or we can do is have like 3 different cameras: one that we could talk to during the D&D sesh, one overview, and then one for you.
Or I can have no camera. Y'all can have 3 cameras for all the angles,
And you're just audio?
and I'm just audio.
Is it audio only?
Yeah, I feel like I would feel a lot better if I was just audio, as I feel like a camera just on me is a waste of camera when we can be getting everyone's angles and
Yeah.
reactions and kind of intensities in the story. So
That is true.
I think that would be better, and I feel like I just need my voice to kind of go through. No one needs to see this. This is not a work of art to many people. So
this
we're
is
gonna
what
keep it
people
that way.
subscribe for, though.
That's not true. But yes, I've actually been reading Icewind Dale, which is a quest line that is supposed to take place in like a really, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's like some really icy like area type of map, and you gotta survive like avalanches and like, you know, bitter cold, and it's super, yes, explode. Good job, Gulag.
Gulag has died many by explosion.
Gulag is, never mind.
That is true. That is true.
And so I'm actually really excited to see how the Icewind Dale quest goes. So I'm thinking we could start off our D&D YouTube sessions with Icewind Dale. I'll be DMing. We'll have a core group, and the core group will be the ones that come every week. Maybe we'll have a guest. We're discussing that. We don't know just yet, but we're gonna have a core group. These are gonna be the people you see every time, and yeah, we're really excited about that. These guys are really good at role playing. Their forte is, you know, making a character and trying their best to, you know, progress it and just make you laugh and make you have fun. So that's gonna be the point of that.
Was that the Ginyu Force?
I was out of frame, so nobody got to see that.
I highly doubt. Jamie, play that back.
Aw.
We're gonna make our editor work today.
You're just gonna see an arm like right here.
Happy feet.
Bam.
Dude, okay. Speaking of happy feet, because we made that as such a good meme, what I was thinking about doing was animating a little penguin, so you could just have him here on the desk every time we do a podcast.
That would be amazing.
Just having a penguin like
Our
That's
mascot is
the
a
entire time, just the entire podcast. He's just there.
dude. Yes.
And
that-
his name will be Diggy.
Why? Because why? Dickie the penguin.
Yeah.
All right, so we
What?
got the bad idea out of the way. Let's talk about the good idea.
We'll just workshop it, you know?
There's got to be one bad writer in every writer's group, you know?
I write.
Yeah.
I
Too
write
easy.
scripts. Yeah, that is true. You don't write anything.
I would like to be a writer. I feel like I could try to write stuff.
I mean, as of right now.
Write
I
your name
have-
right now.
Oh crap! I'll type it.
I
How do I spell
mean,
it again?
If we're talking about writers as of right now, Omar saw me do this earlier, but I was working on another episode for my animation series. I got the first 3 episodes done, and I'm trying to figure out what to do for episode 4.
Dude, that's sick.
So,
What's
yeah.
it called?
I haven't really thought of it.
That's an interesting name.
No, no, I haven't thought of it.
I'm surprised I got through all the other options.
I can't wait to see the artwork.
Only the true fans say it within that volume. That's how you know.
But no, I haven't really given much thought to the name. I just wanted to focus more on the story first, and then think of a name later.
All right.
Once it's ready to be released. So I'm still working on my drawing too. So yeah.
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 Super, mega, hyper, a cool force.
No.
2.5.
That's that's the gay version of Power Rangers, man.
I know. What? What's going on?
I think it's a secret.
It's not that
One
big.
idea.
It's really
Sorry.
nothing.
Okay.
So, in terms of D&D, what is it that you? Thank you so much. What is it that you guys would like to see in our D&D sessions? Like, I know y'all have been with me before in terms of being my players, my playable characters. What is it that you guys would like to see from me, and what is it that you would like to see in the world that you feel like you haven't gotten so far in previous worlds?
I just came up with a name for it.
Breaking news.
He got a name.
well, an idea.
What's your idea?
But what? Going back to what Carlos is saying,
Hey.
Now I really want to know the name.
What's the name? You can't just
Dude.
leave us hanging.
SR Shadow Resistance.
SR Shadow Resistance.
That sounds like a mobile app for a sniper game.
Sponsored by Raid Shadow
Shadow
Legends.
We're never gonna get a sponsor just mentioning every sponsor.
I know, right?
They're just gonna be like,
They're like,
they're
they do
making
it
money
for
us.
free, man.
I feel like
Yeah,
they could sue us for that.
Well, they can't sue us for that if we're not doing anything about it.
If they were gonna do that, they
If
would have
we're
done it by
making-
now. With the buy water and with the Cheetos one, they would have done it by now.
Yeah, because
Yes, because our videos are just everywhere across the internet, aren't they?
Sponsored by Buy Water.
Sponsored by Buy.
We're all buy.
I like
here.
the blue. God, I keep forgetting that joke. So yes, the D&D.
What I expect is like actually really fun adventures that are planned, really fun, kind of like funny circumstances happening along the way too. Like maybe some comedy here and there.
You want a sitcom?
No, I'm just saying a really.
Oh, Cody.
A really laugh track.
That's a terrible laugh track.
That was like high school girl.
That was the best laugh track I had. I don't know
Oh,
why I went high
Freddy.
pitched.
Well,
Oh well.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What you want is a rom com. We get it.
No!
Who wants a rom com?
rom.
No.
He wants a Japanese rom-com.
Okay.
No.
Sounds good.
Shut up, Gulag.
No, but also like a really badass adventure too, where we just kick some ass, slay some people, you know.
Okay.
Like fun
Basically wants
for
basically wants
everybody
combat.
and fun for people to watch, but it's also really fun to get into it and actually role play, be
Okay.
creative about that kind of stuff.
So
Okay.
you want D&D?
Yeah. that's it.
Epic D. I don't want just D&D. I want epic D&D, man.
He wants a grand scale.
I
Okay, so check it out. D&D. So the previous sessions that we've done, I feel like we've had all of our laughs. I feel like we've had all of our cool epic
Exactly.
moments.
So what we do, but now live. Or like not live, but like people see.
Right, but like be specific though, or not specific, but like what is a goal that you would want us to achieve, or something that we do that we haven't done?
McCormick levels of character
Oh.
writing.
First, you gotta get big before you can get merch. All right.
Oh man.
Uh,
But I appreciate the opinion. I appreciate the energy that you want from it. I will definitely work my hardest to bring a fun and exciting environment.
We're gonna have a character who gets arrested for being a simp. Boom.
That already happened in another world.
Exactly.
In another world, someone lost his team for being a simp.
Because it was a simp.
Oh, that was rough, man. That was rough. All right, what about you guys? What would you guys like to see that you feel like could be improved upon, or we haven't touched on in past D&D worlds?
Okay. Well, in regards to D&D, like typically the aspect is of the players and like kind of how the party like goes about deliberating on what the problems they got and stuff. What I think would be interesting is if there's like more. Let's see, what is it?
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
I need more
you know?
cowbell.
Because the cowbell is not very respected these days.
Editor, put in a cowbell.
Editor, cowbell.
Editor, cow.
All right, I'm doing that first.
Moo.
Yeah, but I think
Penguin.
I think when it comes to like the D&D sessions, you kind of get into like the whole like what's coming next, what's coming up, how we're gonna deal with this and that. But I think also if we kind of take some like along with all the action stuff, kind of have it to where characters kind of evaluate what's going on along with how things have gone amongst the party. Because when things are just happening left and right, you're kind of just like, all right, we need to get through this situation, and now we're put in this situation, and now we need to go somewhere, which ends up getting this other thing. Because of course, you need D&D to have some events, otherwise, it's dull, kind of like everyday life. But I think having moments to where the characters also reflect on what has happened, and kind of have some sort of like show more growth from that and how like they feel about it. Because
So you want a clip show?
You want character development and you want character cohesiveness, basically.
yeah, because I know, and people may be familiar with how like there's the whole like Dan Harmon, this Harmon Quest thing, and of course there's like Critical Role, Adventure Zone, and stuff like that. I'm not too familiar with those, more with Harmon Quest.
Yeah, I've
but
only seen Harmon Quest as well.
yeah,
Hi, Gulag.
yeah, but like one of the things
I
that
looked directly
I
in
saw
the
a video.
Uh,
Yeah, I saw a video when they were talking about how Harmon Quest was done and how Dan Harmon like made it to where his character was having like actual character growth throughout the campaign, because typically it's about the moments of the character having great times, but not many people really want their character to have a bad time, you know, or show that they have like some sort of not cool side to their character. So kind of being able to show that and how that gets improved upon, developed,
Yeah,
that sort
no,
of thing.
definitely. I feel like in my past worlds, I've totally focused on kind of how the world works and how the characters are affected by the plot devices rather than how the characters affect each other, and kind of how the characters think and feel about each other. So that's definitely a great point that you make there. I could absolutely work on that. And that could actually be something really fun. That it's probably the missing link, honestly, in prior worlds that we could definitely implement. So that's good.
Yeah, but I just play D&D for fun. Making it to a show is something else.
It was a badass explanation.
All I'll
and
say is last
everything.
time Freddy got really angry at
That
another
is-
character.
That is true, but he had it coming.
He did have it coming. He deserved it. All right, Omar, what about you?
They always deserve it.
I don't know. It's like I always have fun on the campaigns that we do, and just the world building that you've done so far is what has made it so fun. And so I never felt like we needed to take a pause, since I guess I just enjoy the random spurts of action or the progressing of the story through visuals, and because like I guess I got that from a lot of YouTube reviewers that I see, where a lot of them say show don't tell, or I think one of my favorites is when critics make fun of the line "as you may know," because it comes out in a lot of terrible movies where it's like, "As you may know, I did this," and it's like if this person already knows, why say it? You show don't tell. And while dialogue and visuals beautifully combined together make a great story, I could see what Freddy says, where too much of one can require the need of the other. So when he was talking about it, I started to see, it was like, wow, we do just, it's not that we only do battles all the time, but it is where we're thrown into a situation, and then I don't think we ever got a chance to breathe and realize like what was going on. I know that it helped a lot, especially when, so audience, I don't write anything down. None of us do, except for Freddy here. He writes everything down.
He is our lore master and our rule keeper, basically.
And
Without Freddy, our group does not exist.
and so the
He's the equivalent of like a book explaining all of the Kingdom Hearts lore.
This
This
is
is our
Freddy.
version of that. What?
We're good.
What,
This is
Gulag?
D&D props.
Oh, I was like confused. Yeah, hand me that
This is
actually.
Freddy.
All right.
If we get copyrighted, oh well.
I mean, thanks, man. I didn't think I looked that hideous,
He's
but
like, oh,
you
look
know.
at that, a DM screen. We're gonna put this here,
Where
And
no
so-
one can
nobody
see it.
and I'm gonna play the part of the DM.
Few moments later.
That's what I was saying.
Failure,
It's just like,
failure.
I see what Freddy is
Failure,
saying
failure.
when he's saying that there was rare times where we had a chance to breathe, and our chances to breathe was when he was explaining most of the story. When it was like, when we would encounter a past character and we had no idea who it was,
Yeah.
and he would be like, "Oh, it's this guy. It's in my notes." And I feel like thanks to him is why I remember most of the story of the either campaigns that we've been in, either of the major ones, without that recap or not a clip show, but filler memories, the flashbacks of the anime.
Yeah, I just feel like with our campaign, it feels hard to allow breathing room when I feel like there's actually a lot of breathing room when y'all are trying to decide what to do next. Because I feel like everyone in our parties are very calculated and are very slow to move. And so as a DM, it can be really hard to try and, I guess you can say, develop a story when 30 minutes of every hour are spent deciding to do one decision. And so as a DM, it's like, okay, we've had a lot of breathing time, but they spent 30 minutes straight discussing whether or not they should go into the saloon or not. And so it's like, all right, they spent 30 minutes. I'm just going to throw a bunch of things at them. And then, okay, now we got another 30-minute decision. So it feels like there's breathing room, but of course, on y'all's end, it's definitely not. It's definitely a lot of work. So I can see how that can work. So maybe we both need to have a little give and take there. I think, being a little bit more decisive and focusing more on, hey, it's an adventure. Let's just do it. And me on just allowing the characters to acknowledge each other, which is good. I respect that. But that begs a question for me. What is y'all's favorite D&D moment that y'all have ever had in a session? Can be
I need some time to think.
can be a prior session, can be a session we just had, can be something y'all experienced a long time ago, or maybe it's even watching something on like a YouTube channel or whatever.
There's like 3 different moments that come to my mind, honestly.
Sounds
So,
like
like,
you know,
Sounds like you're going.
One of them was the first time I ever experienced D&D. I wasn't playing. I was watching these guys play in a different campaign where he was a little gnome. I just remember him punching someone and it having no effect at all. it's like, but with the
For
with
context, I was a wizard.
I remember that.
all I
Sorry.
pictured was just him like, and then like the little squishy sound, like the squeaky toy sound effect.
Dude, that's so funny.
And then another time was, in my first campaign, which was where me and Omar were Power Rangers. I just kept berating him the entire time.
That's every session.
I know, every session I always have to talk crap to him, and it's great because that's our character dynamic, and it's amazing.
What did I do to deserve this?
You breathe.
Oh.
You breathe, my dear boy.
And then the third one,
It's like Omar exists. Cody takes that as a
must
challenge.
destroy. No, it's that meme where it's like Omar exists, me, and I took that personally.
And I
took that personally,
I took
yeah.
that personally.
I took that personally.
No.
And I took that.
So, and then the third moment, my third favorite moment, which is also my least favorite moment. So it's like both of them for different reasons. So the reason why it's my favorite moment is because it's just so hilarious. It happened recently in our last one shot that we did, where I was like a lizard man. We had this guy come in, and he writes his characters out to the fullest. Like, he goes full on, like, personality-wise. He does exactly what they do and not what would benefit any of us. So one of his characters simps over this demon chick and gets arrested. And then because of all of that, it makes our job harder, and he ends up losing his entire team because one dude was a fucking simp.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yep.
But the reason why it's also my least favorite moment is because at the end of the day, these guys made it out alive. I'm still stuck at the entrance point with a whole bunch of guards coming into my
That's
building.
True. That's true.
By myself with a healer who's down because he's tired.
That
Man,
was
why are you
hilarious.
down?
That's also why it's like my least favorite, because it screwed me over, but it's my most favorite just because of what happened.
That was a fun side quest.
That was
We gotta
amazing.
pick that up one day.
We need to. I still have the picture of like how the setup was.
Dude, all we ever do is set up stories and never finish them, or even go have a
Captain
second.
Gabe,
Captain Gabeard. We've had a sea quest for God knows how long, with
About
a,
a
and
couple
we
months.
never finished it.
and we never even start. We started it,
We started, but we never finished.
and we
it.
never even like.
We never even got to the main area where
We
the
never did a
story
second
happens.
It's
session.
because
Yeah.
Eladio works.
I know, dude. It's all Audio's fault. A lot of you can hear this. It's your fault.
Well, it's
It's
not
probably
even-
watching
Quit.
like,
Quit your job at Denny's, man.
So you took one of the moments, but it's not a moment. It's just the fact that
Well, the question
This-
was about a moment, so it better be a moment.
the moment when Carlos told me that I'm allowed to be a Power Ranger in D&D. So
That was great.
I'm a humongous Power Rangers fan since I was a kid.
anything you want to know about Power Rangers, he's your encyclopedia.
That's true.
You might want to take a seat. Nah, so when I was searching through D&D stuff, I realized that there's a lot of people like on Reddit or online who create their own characters or their own kinds of archetypes, in which it's basically an anime character or a character from a show that they love, because you can do anything in D&D or be anyone.
Exactly.
And so when I found that out, I realized that you could be one of my favorite anime characters, Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, and a Power Ranger. So there's two separate campaigns where I'm both. We're not both at the same time. but
You're a
I'm
gnome,
one-
Kaneki.
My gnome is a ghoul,
You're a gnome, Kaneki.
and in another campaign, I actually got the chance to be a Power Ranger not one from the show, but one that has its own lore, its own family, and its
Yeah.
own type of powers. So that was extremely cool. So
Until I joined.
So if I were to have to narrow it down to a moment, I would say the moment that Carlos said, "Bro, you can be a Power Ranger," that was the best, and it still is.
Yeah, very funny story about that.
What was the name of that book you were reading that you brought up?
Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale?
Yeah.
So it's like all like ice and frozen type of thing?
Yeah, dude. So basically, the main part, and this is stuff you can find literally on the back of the book, so this isn't spoiler. But the main thing is that basically some sort of fallen god or angel, I don't know the specifics of it, basically is extremely weak. And so what this god is doing is it's using the last of its power to shield this city or town in complete darkness. This god uses the last of its power to block the sun from everyone in this town. And the party, depending on how we're going to start it off, finds their way into this town, trying to figure out the mystery of why this town is always blocked out by the sun and how they can help it. And obviously there's going to be a lot of plot devices going through there. But basically what y'all are going to find out is you're in this area where it's like just completely dark. It's completely cold. It is just like terrible. The survival is like, if I'm going to give you guys any sort of a hint to start off your characters, it's going to be very survival and magic based, like very much so.
Oh, that's perfect. Because I wanted to ask that because I remember you saying like how it's like ice and stuff. I actually made a character. If all of my weebs out there know what this is, if you've seen Fairy Tail, but there's this thing called a Dragon Slayer.
Oh, okay.
It's like an elemental type of wizard thing. So I made mine an element that's not explored in the anime, which is ice.
Nice.
Or like when it comes to Dragon Slayers, it's not explored in the anime. There's Demon Slayers, but not Dragon Slayers. So that's what I did. I made a little ice Dragon Slayer for D&D.
Yeah, something about my campaign building.
Stop flicking us off, dude. That's very insulting.
Our Gulag member just did a weed thing.
Our girl
Fairy Tail
member-
sucked. I didn't like it.
That's the discussion for another day.
You know,
And that's
Yeah.
an unpopular opinion, apparently.
But my opinion matters nothing because Naruto is my favorite anime.
honestly,
So
he doesn't like it. It's my favorite, but I can honestly care less because I haven't seen Naruto in years. To be honest, I need to finish that.
yeah, it's mostly filler. But
That's
something
sad.
about my D&D building is I let a lot of kind of free reign go, but I am very lore heavy and I'm very world building, at least as best as I can be. I'm no George Lucas or Quentin Tarantino yet, but
Yes. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
But I definitely love lore and I definitely love world building. So hopefully we can try to throw a little bit of that in there. But yeah, I remember though about your Power Ranger character. I think it was the first or second session. The characters were working their way towards a mini boss fight for their arc. And his character, his Power Ranger, absolutely loves to rush into battle alone. That's like his whole thing. And so we were like, oh yeah, we're run with it. Yeah, dude, he's a fighter. Of course, he wants to prove his worth to his family. That's like his character thing. And he gets downed immediately. Like within the first couple turns, he just gets wrecked. Like the main boss just destroys him. And he's sitting there on the ground. And Omar's like, oh, I'm just going to roll my death saves. I'm going to get out of here. He dies. He dies.
Yeah, that's right.
In the fight. And Omar is like, no, my Power Ranger. And I'm just sitting there like, I can either let him die and let him learn his lesson, or I can be a good DM. So I was like, oh my gosh, Omar, a tattoo that was on you this whole time that I totally didn't retcon glows. And your character comes back to life as the tattoo dissipates from your
It
body.
was the Emerald Enclave.
It was, shut up. We'll talk about that here. There's a different world. And so Omar hasn't died since then, so obviously he learned his lesson.
You know what that reminds me of? That I wasn't there for this, by the way, but there was a moment that you guys talked about where there was this one guy who rushes into a boss fight and just gets killed immediately.
That was Casey.
That was Casey.
Oh yeah, Casey. Oh my
He was a
god.
barbarian,
Goes in and
No, not
dies.
yet. He was
He was a
no-
ranger.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't supposed to go up to him.
He went full on, like, from what
I remember
hear,
because I was just like, dude, you didn't have to go up to him.
At all. He really.
He didn't.
So from what I heard, he basically just Leroy Jenkins this shit and died.
He
Yeah.
died in the first attack.
He didn't even have like a strong weapon or anything. It was like a regular like sword or dagger or something.
Also, for context, we hadn't even rolled initiative yet.
He started it.
I was trying to be diplomatic with with that final boss for that dungeon they had just gone through, and all Casey says, I run up and stab him.
Because you know that there's, for most games and for most stories, there's, before the boss fight even happens, there's dialogue. There's like, hey, I'm better. Hey, no, you're gonna die. Oh, we'll see about that. Then the fight starts. But
Yeah.
Casey's like, hey, what up? And the Casey's like, ah!
Casey's like, and I took that personally.
Jeez. Oh man.
Boss exists, Casey, and I took that personally.
You know, when you started mentioning the ice and survival thing and the fact about magic, I immediately thought of a character in a Power Rangers series.
Well,
Is it
You're gonna
Donna?
disappoint me in 2 seconds if you don't
You
get it right.
are.
What's the name?
Donna, right?
No.
No.
So it's
Donna.
disappointment.
so in
It's
Power
something with a D and it ends with
in,
an A.
in Power Rangers Mystic Force, the mentor, she loses her powers, but she does ice magic, and she's a Power Ranger at the beginning and at the end, but not throughout the series. Her name is Udana.
Ooh, Donna.
Ooh,
I was close.
You were so close.
I was close.
You deserve
Hey.
disappointment.
Dude, just a strict teacher
And
here.
all it took is one letter.
This is what I get for being your Padawan. I get shit on, man.
Hey man, you can't all get the best of them. Sometimes you gotta have an Anakin.
You want a lightsaber? Too bad.
Is this
Gets killed by Anakin.
is this Udana?
Yes, sir. That is Udana. I'll throw up a picture right now.
This is Udana for you boys here.
Oh, dude, I didn't see it.
Okay. And Omar will
Throw
be
up a
putting
graphic.
pictures here, and here.
Oh, that chick. Oh yeah, I see.
Wait, does that even fit in the frame for you?
Look, watch.
Here, and
I'm just gonna
here.
be lowering it.
Lowering
There
it.
you
Oh
go.
no, I'm setting it on fire. Ooh.
She's dead.
She's Dead.
All of this is getting cut.
What's
First guest appearance and she died.
that? Michael Jackson from the Great.
Why? Is this like a gif of him?
Why is it from when he was like back and young?
Back in. You said it.
I was gonna say back in a certain time, but I didn't remember what time, so I just said when he was young.
You tried your hardest, Freddy, and I respect that.
I didn't remember what years he actually performed. I don't know when the Jackson
back in
5
the-
was there.
Back in the young days.
80s? I was thinking 80s, but I was like, well, is it 70s? I just felt like it was better to say
I
when
did
he
a
was
full
young.
presentation on the Jackson 5 in college, and I don't remember a thing about Michael Jackson.
And that's kind of how college is.
We
isn't
went
it?
from D&D to Michael Jackson. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, I did a. So I had this communication class that with this teacher that was probably the best teacher that I've had like ever in college, but I'm a disappointing student, so I didn't do too good. But this teacher was really good. His name's Joel. Shout out to Joel at UTRGV. What up?
Joel Heyman?
Probably doesn't remember me because I'm a terrible student. But I will say this. He was probably the best teacher because he actually taught us. And he had this thing that he did where at the end of the semester, you and a group of your students had to talk about or give a presentation about a band, any band you wanted. Could have been a singer, could have been a group, whatever. And it was like this very lengthy,
Pick a
very
band. Any band
yeah,
at all.
pick a band, whatever
As long
band.
as it's Nirvana.
As long as Nirvana would have been amazing. Apparently, he said no Beatles because everyone always did Beatles. So he was like, no
true.
Beatles.
Everybody does the Beatles, dude.
And it was so funny because we had this one guy in our group who was a manager for the basketball team at college. And he was like, what if we do the Jackson 5? We were like, yeah, do Jackson 5. That sounds great. He never showed up for a single meeting after that until the very last day we had to present. And he was like, all right, what's my part? And he was the one who told it. And dude, we did research and everything for the Jackson 5 for like weeks, and we like put so much work, and then we realized, wait, the guy who gave us the idea never came back.
So what did you tell him?
Well, at the end, our professor was like, "You're gonna grade each other, and a portion of your grade is going to be what your peers give you. If your peers give you a bad grade, it's gonna severely affect." And this was our final. Our final wasn't an exam; it was this presentation. So this was like a good chunk of our grade, and we all agreed we were gonna give him. We gave him an F. I gave him an F. Like when I was grading him, I failed him because I was like, "This dude did not help whatsoever."
I love when teachers do that because it takes away the pressure of doing group work.
Yeah,
And I've talked to so many people, and this is very real when it comes to, because me and Cody were music majors, and when you're doing like a group more than one person, it is heavily dependent that the other person learns their part or gets good at it, because you don't want to show up to performance and the other guy sucks.
dude, for real.
So I love it when teachers do that because it's like, okay, even if this person somehow winged it and sounded good enough to present, whether it be musical, presenting something, or a video, that's the best part because you can be like, hey, this person, they kind of
He kind of flaked on us, and we did all the work.
And so,
Oh, you're talking about him?
wait,
Were you talking about that guy who flaked on us in that one?
wait, I forgot. We also lived through that.
So here's the story.
Getting juicy.
All about how.
That's copyright. Shut
Screw
up.
you, your name here and here and here.
I actually know his name.
Say it.
No.
Say it, coward.
No,
Coward.
I think that
It's
guy.
a generic Mexican name, wasn't it? Like Juan or some shit.
He just said it.
No, that's not his name at all.
Okay.
But now he's Juan.
He will
you,
now
Juan.
be. He will now be known as Juan. Okay.
I
So
hate that name.
shut up, Gulag.
Yeah, Gulag, before we start calling you by your real name, which is Juan, ironically enough.
Throws a D20.
So generic.
Anyways,
So here's the. Oh.
Jinx. We
No.
had a project in our first.
In our music theory class, and that project was we can do anything, so we decided to do a podcast.
Cute, they're taking turns.
And that podcast was in which where we were talking about analyzing a
That's
piece
adorable.
of music that we picked out. We had to go to the library and pick out this piece, and all we did was we did a Discord call.
And so what I did was I had him on one half of the screen, me on the bottom half using the camera app, just because I didn't have like a solid setup at the time. So I was doing a screen recording thing, and that's where this whole idea of like a podcast came to be, was from that specific thing. So that's what we did. We analyzed the piece, we talked about it, and we submitted it for class. But the thing is, before we even thought of a podcast, there's this other guy who was supposed to join us, and well,
So basically, it was. I think I sat next to this guy in class, and Cody sat a row behind us at the very end. And
in a corner just eating my taco.
everyone knew Cody because he would always come in 5 minutes late with us a taco from El Pato
Genius.
and
Right.
and a drink.
Yeah.
You're just coming 5 minutes late every time and just bring us food and start eating in the middle because it was 8 in the morning, so
Yeah.
you needed your breakfast.
Absolutely genius.
I wouldn't care about class. I would just eat there while paying attention. That's it.
And so when it came time for this project to pick your partners, my teacher was very cool about it. She was like, "You guys can pick whoever you want, you know." And she was explaining the project.
I miss Roush.
And this guy was already right next to me, and I would talk to him occasionally through our classes. You want to be in a group? He was like, sure. But we needed a third because it was 3 or more.
Yeah.
And so I just looked back, and I'm like, you want to be in a group? And he said, yeah.
That's literally like the story of him just being like, that one. I want that one.
I want that introvert.
Because I already had other classes with him. So
And
I
this
already
is how he
recognized face.
adopted me. He's just like, that one. Hey, you want to be in a group?
And so for like the next week after that, that dude was still there, and we were still at least committed to doing this group and doing the project. 1 week later after that, never showed up again. Ever.
Wow.
Like not
Wow.
even to the final.
Thank God he was there.
quizzes, test. Yeah, I had at least one person to fall back on,
Dude, good choice.
and we never said anything
Wow.
to the teacher ever until the end.
Jeez.
So, the thing is though, when I would talk to this guy before that, he would say, "Yeah, man, this is like my 3rd time taking this course because I always just don't come to class."
Not surprised.
And that was
That'll get
the
you.
4th time he did it. And so this guy's been. Last time I saw him, he was still in school, and he's should have been done.
He's
like
still
2
in
years.
school now.
He's still in school. He should
'Cause
have
I
been done,
remember
like 2 years ago
a few semesters after that incident, I saw him again. I'm like,
at a concert.
I saw him in the practice room. I'm like, why the fuck are you still here? You don't give a you don't give a shit about anything, man. You left us to like. I didn't tell him this. I'm just looking at him through the practice room window. And
Cody just like
I'm just like I walk past. I do a double check. I'm like, is that it? Oh shit, that's it. So I'm walking by. I'm like, why don't you just fucking drop? You don't give a shit about this school. You left us to dry on a group project that you in a class that you supposedly took for 3 times already. Like, why are you even here?
yeah, we've been flaked down before.
I was like, why are you even here, man?
I absolutely love how we touched on the topic of adopting introverts because I feel like I've always been the one to like adopt the introverts in my life. Like my whole life I've always been like with the people who didn't like to talk much or do much stuff. So I was always the one giving energy. And then I met you.
Hi there. Welcome to the podcast.
And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this guy's cool. We're going to talk. He's a talker. Great. I'm a talker. I was like, I've never really had an extroverted friend before. So I was like, so this will be interesting. Dear God. I didn't realize how tiring I could be to others. Not to say you're a terrible person, but I will say the first year we would hang out, I was really surprised at how much he talked. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, am I this way to other people? Like, and so I was just like, man, Omar talks. But it's good because it's like, you know, it's never boring and it's never like annoying or anything like that. It's just like, okay, yeah, we're having a great time. We're comfortable with each other. Like, this is how you grow with somebody. But man, like I just remember some days waking up, going to class with you, and I just woke up and I'm just walking, I'm dead, and Omar's just 20 questions. I'm just like, yeah, dude, yeah, dude, you're right, that's cool, man.
And that was what the Chick-fil-A was for.
Yes. Oh, dude, when we had theater class,
We had
you
theater
would bring me
appreciation.
Chick-fil-A for breakfast. That was the best. Dude, that was so good. I would just be chilling in class, dead tired, and our theater teacher was playing a movie. And so I was just sitting there in the dark, and I was like, I'm starving. And Omar's like, hey, here. And it's just a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I'm like, this is the gift from the gods. It's like
And
the
so
best.
for me, this was like my what?
Hey man,
I'll let
Omar's
you
just-
decide.
Omar's a bit of a Chick-fil-A, isn't he?
Oh.
Omar's the type of extrovert that like when it comes to introverts, he sees it as a pound, and he's just like, I picked that one. I'll adopt that one.
It's
Like
'cause
he's walking
typically
through the pound, and you're just like that
Oh.
one.
I don't know what it is, but like especially when I started going to when I became a music major, everyone there knows each other. But even then,
Oh.
people
I
don't-
didn't.
So everyone sees each other. Is what I mean.
Mostly, everyone knows each other.
So everyone
Everyone
just sees each other all the
except
time.
you.
So most often you have a lot of people in the same class over and over. Like you can literally just walk with someone and they'll naturally just walk into the same room you do.
Yeah.
And so that major's so in depth, and everybody knows everyone there. Basically, you've seen each other at least a few times. But it made me feel weird how no one would really talk to each other in class. I'd be like, "Yeah, how's it going?" And so I would always be the one to like start conversations with people, and I saw that people had their cliques. So even if I tried, but yeah, they kept their cliques.
Yeah, it's rough going into college for the first time because everyone else is just as scared and confused as you are. So their natural tendency is to stick by the people they came in with, or just stay in their rooms, which is what I did. My first semester of college, I literally just stayed in my room and played Call of Duty 24/7. I got really good at it, but it wasn't good for me because I was like doing drugs and eating and just vaping and drinking like 24/7. Very bad for my health. But that's all I did 24/7 my first semester until I met the peeps my second year.
Dude, if you were to make college into a D&D campaign, you want to put all your points to charisma.
I'd probably attempt to kill myself, like just like I did in freshman year.
Oh, same.
I mean,
I feel like if college was a D&D campaign, and like you know how there's office hours and you get to go visit your teacher, I feel like that would be a spot where you build up XP, but I still wouldn't do it because I feel uncomfortable.
That's your short rest. Your short rest is going to... Dude, I should have talked to my professors in between, but I never did. It's like, if you are in college and you haven't talked to your professors outside of class, do it. It's like a smart thing to do, but I never did it because I'm lazy.
If college was a D&D campaign, my first semester, I would have had the worst campaign ever. everybody here knows this story. They know the story. You guys know the story. I've talked about this before when we brought up like in that other episode, the first episode that we all did together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I told the story.
Oh, right. Yeah. When you're living off popcorn.
Yeah,
There was-
exactly. I had the worst campaign.
So when we first went into fully online instruction
Yeah.
for our school,
You almost said the name.
it's okay. One of my classes, you were just supposed to show up, right? Just like an average class. It was a scheduled time to show up through Zoom, and you're good.
Yeah.
There was 2 occasions where I was the only student there besides the teacher, and so I would just show up, and the first time I was not even in the mood to go to my desk and just turn on my camera. I just did it through my phone,
Yeah.
and so I told the professors through the comments, I was like, something like that. I just did a random excuse that my camera and my mic weren't working today, and he was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's fine. And he was like, well, since you're the only one here, do you want to leave or do you want to sit through the lecture? And I could tell he was just bummed, and it was just like, I'll sit through the lecture. And he just started going. He was like, all right, I'm gonna record for your classmates. All right, and he started just going. And I was like, I think I made this guy's day.
Dang,
Oh,
dude.
And
man.
so my grade before grades were due was a C, borderline D in that class because I wasn't doing that good.
Yeah.
Grades pop up 2 weeks later. I got an A.
Yeah.
He did something.
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure. For sure.
So
Yeah, it's his class. You showed up.
Dude, I'm telling you, if like professors are like the most human humans you'll ever meet. You do one thing to basically show them like that you care, bro, that changes everything.
they really
Like it's
does.
wild. Like I remember one time I was failing Spanish like usual. I failed Spanish 3 times. Then I switched to sign language, and now I know the alphabet. I see, yeah. And but I remember one of my failures in Spanish. I went up to my professor. I was like, "Hey, listen, okay, I am terrible at Spanish. I've always been terrible. You're a great teacher, and I appreciate you always trying to help us. It's just I'm not catching anything, and I have a F right now in your class, as you can see. Like, is there anything I can do to get some help?" And dude, she literally said, "Yeah, like here's all the work that we've given out so far. Just redo it all, and if you pass it all, I'll just pass you." I was like, "Great, thank you." I didn't do it. I didn't do a single makeup work, and I failed the class anyway. But all I did was talk to my professor, just one conversation, and it could have changed everything. I will say the Spanish part, yeah, that was my fault that one time.
Why didn't you just give it to me to do it for you?
Dude, okay, funny story. I remember in the first time I failed Spanish, we had a presentation we had to give all in Spanish, and I waited till the very last night to start doing it. But as I was typing it out, I was like, crap, I don't know a single bit of Spanish. So I called Juan, who was living with me in the dorm at the time.
This is a different Juan
A
from the
different
one.
Juan. This is a
before.
good Juan. And I was like, Juan, I need your help, bro.
He's the Juan
I need to
only.
write this paper that I need to present in Spanish. Can you please help me? And I asked him at like 2 a.m. And he was already trying to knock out. He was like, yeah, sure, come down there. And he came down, and we literally stayed in the common area in the dorm till like 7 a.m. And he was just sitting there proofreading everything for me and just like typing stuff out. And I went to that presentation with my perfectly written essay, and I bombed it. I could not speak a single thing Juan wrote for me, and I did so bad. I got an F in that class.
That's a rough one.
That's
Jeez Louise, dude. That's gotta be like a sitcom moment where like they start off like, man, I'm failing this class. You gotta help me out. They work so hard. At the end of it, still failed it.
Dude,
oh,
that-
Carlos.
Oh,
Laugh
Carlos.
track.
Laugh track.
That reminds me of a moment. I was listening to a podcast that I really, really love, and there was a guy who said, there was just 2 dudes just talking. And it was like, hey,
Yep.
have you ever thought, well, how you would die? And he was like, or how you would, the best way you would die? And he was like, you know what, man? I'll be honest. The best way that I would die is I wake up, it's the middle of the night, and you just hear the Kingdom Hearts battle music just going on. in the
Oh
background.
my gosh.
And
Yes!
I hear like Heartless just right outside my door. I get up and I hear the music just going, and a Keyblade just appears in my hand, and I'm the chosen one, you know? I walk out and I die because I'm not athletic whatsoever. And I just
I would
started
love
dying.
for that to happen.
Dude, the most intense one would be the Kingdom Hearts 2 one.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Dun, 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 dun.
Isn't that the one with the nobodies? Or?
Yeah, that's when the nobody's
Dude,
come out.
oh my god, that theme is amazing.
It really is.
It's a great theme.
The
Yeah.
Smoshcast, by the way, if y'all haven't heard of it, I want to take credit for Damien's stick, but Smoshcast is great. But it was funny because when I went into Spanish class, because I needed the language credit and I didn't feel like trying for a language class, the teacher heard like as everyone's just talking like, and there was a guy who's super charismatic. He's going around everyone asking like, "Hey, what's your WhatsApp? We're gonna make a group chat right now before class even starts, so we can pass each other homework."
Yeah.
And we're just talking, and after a few classes, she starts noticing my Spanish, and I'm fluent. And one time she just told me, "Omar, could you stay after?" And everyone leaves. I'm like, "Yes," and she's like, "I can tell you're really good at Spanish. I think this class is too easy for you. Would you like to move up to the next level where, you know, it's more for fluent speakers and all that?" And in my mind, I'm like, no. But in outwardly, to not be rude, I'd be like, yeah, that'd be really nice. I just needed the language credit, so this is the one that I found. She was like, yeah. And then the professor from that class contacted me, and he was like, hey, your professor told me about you. Would you like to join my class? And I was like, no. In my mind, I was like, oh, no, I want an easy A. And so what I said was like, I would have scheduling conflicts because I already have a class at that time. And he was like, oh, no.
So
worries.
no.
So I would not be able to do so. And so I stuck in that class and I got an easy A, even though the teacher was a heavy person who uses passive aggressiveness throughout the entire class.
I had the same professor.
Wow.
So I guess that discredits my Spanish because I went for the easy A, but it still worked.
Hey man, all you gotta get is that grade. You know, get whatever gets you past. That's you gotta take it.
For my language proficiency thing, I'm taking Korean.
Korean.
Yeah.
Study abroad.
Just because we don't have Japanese here, I hate.
Study
I'm
abroad
sad.
and study abroad.
Shut up. I knew you were gonna say that.
And also going back to the Kingdom Hearts thing, what if one day we're just here in a podcast and you just hear that battle music playing and a keyblade shows up in your hand,
I mean,
like with all four of us here?
just start sharpening it.
Sharpening it? I don't even. How would you sharpen
Bro,
it?
all I
Like
know
if
is-
all four of us had a keyblade,
Bro.
and the battle music plays.
I've played all the games, and I will say one thing: it is just blunt damage they're doing. I'm sharpening that bad boy, and I'm stabbing freaking Sephiroth in the face.
So,
Dude,
so Riku's old keyblade then, the one that looks like a wing.
See,
Oh yeah,
see,
One Winged Angel.
You're
Or no,
presenting this
I'm sorry, that was
as an
Sephiroth.
epic fight with keyblades, but as soon as you asked him, like, imagine if you were holding a keyblade right now, I immediately thought of myself as Donald.
Oh no!
I would just be Donald.
Yeah, dude.
I would just be Donald, and I'm okay with that. So, where's my fucking money?
Jeez Louise.
Everything's
put-
ripped off the Smoshcast.
Editors put Goofy's face on him when he says that.
I'll do it again.
I'll fucking do it again.
Oh, dude, that'd be cool if we all got keyblades.
That would be cool.
We had to fight off some
You
heartless.
already have a keyblade.
I have one. He has one. You guys need one.
I have keys.
And yeah, blades.
What if I melt down my keys into a gun?
Wait.
I use the keys. I use the melted keys as bullets for my gun.
You're that member from Organization 13 with the dual.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I hated. Oh, okay. I played all the Kingdom Hearts games. He was the one I hated the most. I could never beat him in like the first few tries.
Zigbar.
Dude, I hated Zigbar so
I'll throw up
freaking
some
much.
footage of that fight.
Here,
yeah.
here.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, was Zigbar. Now he's gonna be somebody else if you haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I know that.
But-
That's not a story.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's a wild quest line, man.
I haven't
It-
played it, but I've
dude,
seen the
yeah.
story.
What if you make a campaign about Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Yeah.
I don't say no to many things.
Light
but
is light, darkness is darkness.
Riku!
You see a shadowy figure just like this.
I don't know if I have the mental capacity to make an actual Kingdom Hearts D&D
He would be
campaign.
Donald.
You'd have to be Donald.
You would have to be it
You would have
on.
I'll give you inspiration if you use the accent.
It's like darkness is darkness, and everyone is me for some reason.
Dude, that's true. Everyone is me.
Exactly.
Sora's everyone, and everyone is Sora.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
meant
exactly
to
what this
send
is.
to you earlier before.
Godzilla had a stroke trying to understand the true Kingdom Hearts and freaking died. I like that meme. I like where Godzilla's just on a stretcher. Like Godzilla died.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude, when you made us fight the behemoths in that campaign,
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that so early. It was only because Matt had the crown.
that was so. For context, one of our players, he had a crown that made him basically OP for a certain amount of time. But even then, it spanned out through so many sessions
The
that,
no-face god.
that it required the presence of behemoths, 2 of them, right? Two enormous beasts that we had to take down.
I was going through some old monsters handbooks and I was like looking up some very legendary monsters that I can use because I gave one of my party members a home-brewed magical item that was extremely strong, and it relied on rolling percentage die to determine the outcome of what this magic item would do.
Into a cat.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff. It turned into a cat. It set on fire. It turned into a magical godlike sword that destroyed an entire building in one swing.
Yep.
But every time you used it, it would cause you to roll to see what would happen next. I made the stupid mistake of writing one of the outcomes to be a legendary magical crown that belonged to a demon prince that literally wouldn't change until he took it off, which was my fault. I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid of me. So I basically gave one of my party members the power of God that he used for a very long time that I had to figure out ways of nerfing him. So I, basically give him a time limit. I said, by the end of this day, it's going to do something to you random. So you had to take it off or something happens to you. You don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be random. And so it was taking some time for that to resolve. So I was like, oh, God, I had this planned where I had these legendary behemoth monsters that I found in one of the monsters handbooks. And these things are awesome looking, and they do some crazy fake stuff.
Behemoths pop up now.
Behemoth here, and
So-
here and here.
The various different behemoths. The one from Kingdom Hearts, the one from Final Fantasy, the one from lore of a game I don't know about.
Yeah, all of them. Here, here, and here. And so I literally was like, I guess I'm throwing out my God Killer NPC now. So I was like, you guys see a thing coming through the forest and trees are falling down and it looks massive. And the one person who had the godlike powers, who was supposed to help the party fight this behemoth, runs to the other side of the battlefield to take care of some soldiers that were attacking one of the main cities and leaves the entire party to fight this behemoth.
Which we did gloriously.
Oh, yeah.
We killed it. We killed it
I
hard.
should mention, okay, I will say he didn't leave out to dry. He turned you all into like dinosaurs or something like that, like T-Rexes.
Yeah, he gave us a fighting chance.
But he literally left them, and so we had this
Yeah.
epic, for our time, 3 to 4 hours straight of just combat of these dinosaurs fighting this behemoth, and it was insane. But that was a fun time.
We killed it dead. It was legendary.
Did kill it. It was technically legendary. That was good stuff, man. That was good.
Yeah.
So what I've learned today is that take the easy way out for language classes. D&D needs more time to breathe. Don't flake.
If you're flake, you're a snake.
Dang, you don't want to be Snake.
Did
Everybody
I
hates
ever
snakes.
tell you guys my first impression of Omar?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Please. We have plenty of time for that.
So he knows this. He knows this.
Yeah.
But my first impression of him, in my head, I called him a bitch.
So for,
So for
I've
context,
told this story before, but it merits that I need to tell it again.
because they don't know it. So for context speaking, I'll let you get to that. But for context speaking, we had this piano class, and one time, and like this professor always like grabs your hand and tells you like puts you on a key and stuff. She's like real aggressive with it, and she gets after you and makes you never want to do piano ever again. So
Oh.
Omar goes up there to do a play test like we normally do, and she grabs his hand and he's like, can you not do that anymore? And me, I don't know what's going on, so I'm thinking, do you have a problem with her just grabbing your hand and putting on the keys, dude? Just suck it up. Suck it up or get out of the class, dude. Like, we all have to deal with this shit. stop being a bitch about it.
So
And
So
so
funny.
now, and so I didn't know this, but go on and tell your story. And I didn't find this out until we went to get coffee together once. That's how I found this out. So now you can tell your story.
So before I had a car, I would ride around my scooter to go back and forth from places. And my job is like around a 5 to 7 minute scooter ride from here. And so my previous scooter was getting pretty bad. The front wheel was kind of getting tilted on the axle.
Yeah.
And so there was a clump of grass on the sidewalk that was getting pretty thick. And so I usually just like the wheel was big enough to just roll over it. But this specific moment, the wheel was weakening and this grass thing was getting thicker.
Yeah.
And so my front wheel hits it. I fall forward, land on both parts of my wrist right here.
Yeah.
And so the scooter, somehow I pick up the scooter with my legs as I'm falling, and it goes up in the air, does a front flip, and lands in front of me. And so I'm in the floor. I just fell in front of the traffic going by. So I'm not. I'm sure a lot of people saw that. And so, come next day, I still had to work like that. I'm a server. I had to carry trays like that. As I had to experience hours of pain. Next day, I go to class. It's my first class of the day, and it's piano. And so, I'm playing. There's nothing wrong with my fingers, but it's the moment where my teacher reached over to correct me and show me where I should have put my hand.
Yeah.
But she grabbed it by this area right here, which she didn't grab it with force, but she did press enough to pick it up and move it somewhere else. Which hurt because she grabbed right here.
Yeah.
And so I squirmed because that hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, ow, could you please not
Could you not, please?
Could you please not do that? I'm hurt. And I'm guessing that's the part he didn't hear because I was still talking with her.
Yeah.
And so
All I saw was your reaction. That's it.
and so sometime later, I invite him to get some coffee between classes, and that's when I tell him about it, that I was injured, hence why I squirmed.
Yeah.
Or I guess proper word is cringed at the fact that she grabbed my hand and moved it somewhere else.
Premarital hand-holding? Cringe.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, what Cody was talking about, that teacher being so aggressive, I guess what he means is that her methods are not very effective. It's the kind of teacher where she expects you to know everything.
Yeah.
When her instruction is not set up the way she would want it to be. So.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I don't know if y'all got anything.
Anyways, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us for the CodeO-cast episode, this number. And
Right here,
I
here,
rolled
and
a
here.
16 for ending. Let's go.
yeah, so 16. There you go. So now we're gonna end off as we do every ceremoniously. We're gonna roll off to see who gets the highest. Whoever gets the highest gets to leave early.
Does the outro?
Does the outro. There you go.
Does the outro. All right, here we go.
Who's the lowest gets the outro.
5.
All right, I think I have a fighting chance.
20.
Yay!
Automatic.
No, I don't get the. Do the
20.
outro.
Oh, you can't say
Automatic.
20.
It's the lowest number that does the outro.
All right, guys, shake it. Give it a kiss.
Wait,
15.
All
That's
right,
good.
well,
Outro. Let's go.
Did you roll?
wait, you haven't
Yeah.
rolled.
Oh, I rolled a 16 right now. But
nah, you gotta roll
Nah, you
again.
gotta roll now.
6.
Outro.
Thank you so much for. Hopefully you watched it. If you didn't, please watch us. I want to quit my job and stay quitting.
Or you
Please
can just
make
share it
us
with a friend and
famous.
have them watch it for you.
And if you hated it, dislike. If you didn't learn anything, dislike. If you think we suck,
We should not
dislike.
encourage dislikes here.
Dislike us.
No!
Thank
No.
you once again.
Do the opposite.
But let us know why you dislike.
No.
Yeah.
Let us know in
Out
the
of-
comment section
Out
below.
of spite, tell us we are terrible people.
No.
Accuse us of murder. Send us to prison. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for
I'm
watching.
out.
We'll see you next time.
That was awful.
Cut. Guys, we have a channel called Dig, D-I-G. I'll spell it out if you're...
Digging it.
That's not how you do it.
No.
D-I-G. Whatever. I barely passed on language. We have a Dig channel. We love to
Just like I
record
barely passed
video
Korean.
games, and we love to do fun stuff. They have a Castle Crashers series that is in the works.
Oh, heck yeah!
We will be doing Resident Evil 7.
Maybe we're
Hot.
we're deciding whether we're still doing that or not. But we will upload something with video games where it's 2 of us.
The OG
Great.
CodeO-cast crew here's got something planned for you guys too. On
The
Dig-
links in the
on the Dig channel.
description, I think. That's
right
where
there.
that stuff.
Heck
Okay.
They
Yeah.
are.
And there's a video that YouTube suggested you over there. I think I
No.
pointed at the right direction.
No.
And we have the past video right here to watch and subscribe. You know, it's usually right there, I think.
Dang.
Are you
dude.
actually doing all of this?
Yeah, I actually found a way to do
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
Dude,
encouraging.
we're next
We're
level.
getting
new
somewhere.
mics, new interface. We're
But no
Dig.
new faces.
no new faces.
Now we just need viewers.
Thank you guys for
now we
watching.
need
Bye.
faces to watch us.
We've invested a lot. We hope you enjoy the content.
Our channel.
Our channel.
And we're done.